back to another episode of the 2315 Sports Show. We are continuing our NFL countdown this week. I got a couple segments in the beginning to kind of surprise my boy Ethan here with. Nothing too crazy. And I know he has some hot takes for us. We are doing the NFC and AFC North, which is my division. NFC North is with the Bears. So here's to hoping they do what I have projected for them, but who knows? Getting right into it. So I did go to Chicago this weekend. TikTok coming soon on that, but we made it to. We were going there for a Cubs game. Obviously, made it there. Couldn't ask for better weather. Perfect day in Chicago. I was telling Ethan we were going to go. I actually told the show this too. I think we were going to go to the Bears preseason. Weren't sure if the Bears at the time were starting. We knew Cincinnati wasn't. So we were kind of said no. When we were down there, we learned Caleb was starting. The whole starters were starting. But it was supposed to rain downtown. So we decided not to go. It did rain at the Cubs game. It didn't rain at the Bears game. So I feel it would have been reversed if we went to the Bears game. It probably would have rained. So it looked packed. It looked like a fun environment. Kind of looked like a regular season game. We'll get into him and the Bears a little later, but probably should have, but we didn't. So we'll save that for a regular season game. Not this year. Maybe next year. Maybe should we go this year? They play the Patriots this year in Chicago, but tickets for that were insane. I looked already.
Yeah.
Stupid money. Couple things I want to get your take on. First, college football officially starts this weekend, Saturday.
Thank God.
Thank God for that. We are in Dublin, Ireland for Florida State and Notre Dame, I believe, which makes sense. Notre Dame should be in Ireland. That kind of goes hand in hand. Florida State's random. That's a pretty big game to start out the year overseas. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you like that we're starting overseas with that big of a game, or would you rather see a Notre Dame and a nobody?
I think it's kind of cool. And I do like the big game to start off the year. That's always interesting to get the big game to start the year, to get everybody just, full force, dive into it, catch some attention early. In Ireland, it's cool. So I like the NFL games when they do those overseas. I think that's really cool. So to have a college game, I think that's pretty neat as well. So as far as the big game goes, I like probably like Florida State in it. They got a transfer quarterback. I don't know how to say his last name. DJ Ugalele or something.
Yeah, he was at Clemson.
Clemson.
Long time ago.
I feel like he transferred somewhere else between there, but I don't know where he went.
He went out west somewhere.
But maybe he'll, do what he's projected to do or was projected to do out of high school and be elite. Florida State needs a quarterback after they lost theirs. So we'll see how well they do, but I've probably got Florida State by a touchdown. So
I see. I don't like Notre Dame because they don't belong to a conference. However, Notre Dame fighting Irish in Ireland, I don't think I can go against them. I gotta take them, just because of that. But
fair. That's fair.
I do like Florida State, obviously. Like you said, DJ Ugalele, I think is how you would say it. He was supposed to be Trevor Lawrence's backup, or was it Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Just come right after
him. So that's how long he's been in college football. So, and he hasn't lived up to anything. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully he finds it there and brings kind of Florida State back on the map, just like their last quarterback did. I mean, before he went down, they should have. they were fighting for the title. I mean,
Yep.
so
They
and he
were
was
they
fighting
were
for a
a
Heisman.
really good team. Yeah. And that's so I was just looking at it. He 2020 only played a couple games, but at Clemson 21
Mm-hmm.
threw for 2,000 yards, only 9 touchdowns, 9 picks. 22 at Clemson, 2,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 picks. But then transferred to Oregon State,
That's
had
right.
2,600 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 picks. So he's had his last 2 years have been pretty good. So,
Yep.
About 60% completion on average. So not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done pretty good, and he's rushed for 21 total touchdowns. So he can run the ball a little bit too. So maybe he'll be the answer they need.
Okay.
So and he caught one pass
Ooh, interesting
for
stat
6
there.
yards. 6 yards.
Hey. So yeah, so again, college football technically starts Saturday, and then I would assume all the rest of the games start Wednesday. I would project kind
Probably.
of lower games, and then building up to the big weekend, Labor Day weekend next weekend already. So that's exciting times. Again, college game day's back, college football's back. Here we go.
Yes, can't wait.
Other thing that came up since we've last recorded, ESPN fired 2 people. I don't know if you heard this or not. One being Robert Griffin III, and the other one being Sam Ponder from NFL Countdown. You're 3 weeks into the 2.5 weeks away from the first NFL game, and you're firing the head of the show. Well, kind of the moderator of the show, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, she's the lead.
Robert Griffin was really good. He's very knowledgeable. He's very energetic. Sam Ponder also. She brought a lot of views to that show from the women's perspective. I mean, the last one that was like that was Susie Kohlberg. I mean, there were some big women names that I enjoyed watching alone. Like my wife, obviously, like Sam Ponder and Susie Kohlberg, and to see that was really good. And they knew football. Like I don't get it. For a different show, I think Sam Ponder's was a little on her political side of things that ESPN didn't like. We're not going to go down that road. It's not what we're about here. But I don't get it. ESPN, they're fighting to stay relevant. We just talked about it last week. And, Pat McAfee coming back. We're getting rid of the staleness. We're getting some energy. And now you go fire one of the biggest energies that you had, not Robert Griffin. And then a solid woman analyst, in the game. So ESPN's they're back on the downward spiral already after a week, after we thought they were on the come up. So not a fan of it. They said it was a cost saving venture or whatever. So I don't know I don't like it, but who are we?
Yeah, for real. And that's jumping in talking about Sam, like we're not going to get into the politics side of things, but like it's ridiculous. If you don't like somebody's politics or I can't remember who it was, but she was on NBA Countdown and they fired her.
Oh, the red-haired girl. Yep.
Yeah, they fired her because of a race thing that was going on. And like, it's just like they're trying to be so PC that, try to please everybody, that it's ridiculous because she was great at her job. Like, that's all that matters. You're great at your job. Like, I mean, as long as you're not coming out and like being a racist or, doing something stupid, like keep them on. They're good talent. Keep them on.
Mm-hmm.
And then with RG3, that dude's hilarious. Like he says stuff that's borderline, like crossing a line, but he's always been that way. And he said, I say these things because they're entertaining and people enjoy this kind of stuff. And at the same time, he's like, I don't really need this job. So if I get fired, it's okay.
Exactly.
But he is one of the best talents, the color commentator during football.
Mm-hmm.
He's great on college football. So I don't understand the firing. I don't think they even really gave a reason why.
Mm-mm.
But I hope he picks up somewhere or even just does his own thing because he's awesome. He's awesome to watch, and he's super knowledgeable, like you said.
Yes.
So it's ridiculous, but I hope something works out.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it will. I mean, Fox is going to come calling, like for both of them. I mean, Fox NFL Sunday might pick up Sam Ponder.
Yeah,
They got all the money in the world, and they hire people. So, or shit, Amazon might come calling. Amazon's got some stuff going on now. So
yeah. I know for games you need a lead commentator, so that's why like Al Michaels or other people do that. But and you've got Brady for your lead analyst. But I'd love to see a RG3 and a Brady.
Oh yeah,
that would be a cool team. That'd be entertaining.
Sure.
Or I hope Brady's good. He may not be, but them two together, I think would be kind of cool.
I do. I agree. But again, they'll find jobs, and again, like RG3 said, and honestly, Sam Ponder's probably in the same boat. Neither one of them need the job.
Right.
I mean, Christian Ponder had an NFL money, and she had her own thing before him. So, or not before him, but while he was playing. So, I mean, again, I don't think they need money, but it was good to see them, and they were a fresh take on things, and it's going to be weird. They did hire, or they didn't hire him because he's already there, but Mike Greenberg's taking her role. I do like Mike Greenberg. He's probably my favorite that's there. We were in the generation of Mike and Mike in the morning.
Oh, that was awesome.
Best sports show to this day. Pat's coming close. Don't get me wrong. It's just a different entertainment. Those two guys were very knowledgeable, very funny, and just all out great. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And again, jumping right back into it. We're counting down NFL season by divisions. And like I said, we were doing the NFC and AFC North this week. We're going to start with the AFC North because we've started with the AFC each time. Next week might be a little different since we're in the East in your domain, but we'll go AFC North. This one was tough. Probably one of the more, so far that I've done, the more tough divisions. They're pretty good all over. However, we might have different ones. I don't know. But number one for me is the Baltimore Ravens. Key additions, obviously, big Derrick Henry. They swiped him. Wide receiver, they got Nelson Aguilar, who's a vet. He's good. And then they re-signed their defensive line, Justin Madubuike, maybe? That's what I'm going to pronounce it as.
Close enough.
Close enough for me.
Good enough for who it's for.
Big key departures, Devin Duvernay, which Nelson Aguilar probably is a wash there. There's a corner in Ronald Darby that they let go. Mm-hmm. They lost a lot of defense. And Patrick Queen, linebacker, ended up going in the division, which we'll get to here in a minute. But I do have the Baltimore Ravens having a good year, finishing 12-5 this year. Number one spot in the AFC North.
There you go. Yeah, so that's a good take. I like Baltimore. I like the Ravens. So I've got them also finishing first in the division, going 12-5 as well.
Same.
I have them as the 4 seed in my playoffs, so they'll get the last for the division winners. But I do love the addition of Derrick Henry. That's huge for them. Not only for the regular season, because I do think they're going to limit carries in the regular season for him. Not a ton, but give him some first, second down work. I don't think he'll run a lot on third down unless it's short, because he's not the every down back anymore. I mean, he probably could be, but they're going to save his legs for the playoffs. I think they're a really good team still. Lamar is 2-time MVP. He's the most athletic, and probably to me, he's the most enjoyable quarterback to watch in football. I'd rather, Mahomes is good, but Lamar's just electric.
Yep.
So I do have them going 12-5, dropping the home opener to Kansas City, losing to Buffalo, Cincinnati, the Chargers, Houston, losing to a lot of good teams. But I also have them beating some good teams, Dallas, Cincinnati, splitting with them, Philly, Cleveland, splitting with them. No, they beat Cleveland both times. So, but they're going to lose some tough games because I'm not a huge, when it matters the most, I'm not a huge believer in Lamar. I don't think he's going to ever win the big game. But I do believe that they're going to finish first in the division, 12-5.
I like it. We started off different. I have them having a huge win right off the bat against Kansas City. They're going to go in and ruin ring night. And he's going to have a monster game. Lamar, both of them, Lamar and Derrick Henry. But again, we had the same record, 12-5. I do have them sweeping the Browns as well and splitting with Cincinnati. I hate comparisons, but Lamar Jackson is almost, when he's on TV, it's almost like when Michael Vick was on TV. You sit and watch. Now,
it's must-watch football.
I'm not saying he's Michael Vick, but he's close. I mean, in his like popularity when he's on TV, it's very reminiscent of Michael Vick. So I like it.
I think he's almost as electric and maybe a better runner than Vic, but Vic's got the better arm.
Yes,
he was a little more accurate. He's got the bigger arm. They're very comparable guys right there.
Yes, and both have great uniforms, like Atlanta and Baltimore, like
classics.
Probably some of the best in the game. So we both got Baltimore. Number 2, and this was hard for me because I'm a huge fan of the quarterback, Cincinnati Bengals. I really wanted to put them at 1, but when I got to looking at their like key departures, I couldn't because they lost a decent amount. So key additions, we'll start there. Franchise tag on T. Higgins. Whether he's there the whole year or not, we don't know. But for now, he's playing wide receiver for the Bengals. They got a tackle in Trent Brown, which was a good pickup for them.
Yeah.
Got to protect Joey B. And then they got a tight end that he's not a big name tight end, but he can put up some stats, especially with a guy like Joe Burrow. And that's Mike Gesicki. He's going to be the starter. He's been at Miami. He's been everywhere, it seems like. But in that offense, I think he can produce. Key departures, one of their bigger ones is Joe Mixon, running back. Granted, I don't think he should have even been in the league anyway, but whatever. He was a really good running back for them. He was consistent. They lost Tyler Boyd just at wide receiver depth again. Tackle Jonah Williams, and then defensive line DJ Reader. So they lost. When I started looking at their departures, they lost quite a bit. And what they added they didn't fill every hole per se, but still got them finishing second. And I got them finishing at 10-7 this year. Okay. So they could be playoff. Yeah. They could be in there. They could get in.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's they do have a ton of key departures, and that was hard. When I was looking at their roster and their teams and stuff, I think the biggest loss is Joe Mixon. But he had games where he was great, and he had games where he disappeared. Their offensive line is a little was a little suspect last year. Now they have 3 of the biggest tackles in the league. They're all like 6'6", 6'7", 320. They're big guys. Trent Brown was good for the Patriots for the last 4 or 5 years. I really like Trent Brown. But if Burrow stays healthy, which we hope he does, if T. Higgins is there the whole year, if Jamar Chase shows up, he hasn't even shown up yet because of his contract. So if all of those are there all year, I've got them at 11-6.
Okay.
I think they're going to have a good year though. Zach Moss, he was a rookie last year. He'll be RB1, and Chase Brown, I believe, he's RB2, and he's a rookie this year. So they're going to be young, but with Joe Burrow there, when he's healthy, he's the second best quarterback in football to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's got ice in his veins. He's a big game winner. You have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You lost Tyler Boyd, which is okay, but you did get Mike Gesicki. He's played the last 2 years in New England, or last year in New England, and he was really good for the Pats last year. I really think the success of their team this year is on the defense, because I think the offense is going to produce lots of points. They have a favorable schedule. I like it. Their division is the hardest in football, so they have 6 tough games. And then whatever games they have outside of that. But I do like them. I got 11-6, the number 2 seed, and I have them finishing 6th in the playoffs.
Okay.
Getting the number 6 seed.
Making it to the 6th seed. Yeah, I agree with your take on Joey B. If Patrick Mahomes wasn't Patrick Mahomes, he'd be the best quarterback in the league. And you're going to start your team with either one of those guys, either 1A and 1B.
So here's my hot take. Number 1, put Joey B on the Chiefs for the last however many years.
Mm-hmm.
So the year Pat's first year starting, AFC Championship versus the Patriots, and he lost. Joey's not winning that. That was just a magical year for the Pats as well. Correct. Brady's kind of last hurrah.
Right.
So they're not winning that. But then the following year, they go and they win the Super Bowl versus the 49ers. I think they win that because they were awful in the first 3 quarters of the game, and then they stepped up. I think they win that with Joey B as their starter.
Yep.
And in the last 2 Super Bowls, I think they would have won them as well. So I think even if you put Burrow in Patrick Mahomes' shoes for the 3 Super Bowl seasons, I still think you have 3 championships. And you may have another one in there because all the talent is just ridiculous. So I think the margin between Burrow and Mahomes is super thin.
Yep.
But I don't think if you would have put Mahomes on the Bengals, I don't think he'd have any rings.
No.
And Burrow on the Chiefs would have at least 3 as well.
Yep.
So
I'll agree to that. I'll also take it a step further. I don't think Mahomes on the Bengals would have the success Joey B has had on the Bengals, to be honest.
Fair.
Just different play styles. And Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are in sync. Joey B had to start right away. Mahomes didn't.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Burrow's
never had an offensive line like any of the Chiefs. He's never had weapons he's got Chase and Higgins. Don't get me wrong. They're great. But he's never had a Tyreek Hill, a speed demon out there, or Travis Kelce, like that safety net. So,
and the defense.
and the defenses,
for consecutive years. I mean, the one defense they had to get to the Super Bowl was damn near shut down. But I agree with you. 1A and 1B to me. I'd take either one of them. The difference between them is injury stuff.
Yeah,
I'm taking Mahomes, obviously. He's been hurt once. That actually hurt the team, really. I mean, he gets banged up, but he plays. He's tough. And 2, Mahomes is a little more flashy. like playing style wise. Joe Burrow has the drip. Don't get me wrong. Like, can't deny that. But his play, like just their play style is a little more flashy, but that's coaching too. That's Andy Reid letting them be who they are and embracing that. So both of us got them second. So 3 and 4, we probably have switched if I had to guess. Because I have Pittsburgh at 3. And the reason is I just don't like Cleveland. That simple as that. I don't like Cleveland anything. So Pittsburgh to me, key additions, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. You got 2 QBs to choose from. One's a vet, one in Justin Fields. As a Bears fan, I think with the team we have now would have been a different outcome, but we moved on. And the one that's there, we'll get to that later because something giving a little goosebumps a little bit. But so you got them 2. You got Patrick Queen, who came from Baltimore there.
Yep.
And then a Dante Jackson, I believe I wrote down, which is a corner.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So big time additions. Quarterback's still a question mark, but I think it's better than what they had. They're in a better place. Key departures is a Deontay Johnson, wide receiver, who kind of seemed like a head case. And this guy, I don't even know. Offensive tackle, Chukwuemeka Okorafor. Big dude. I don't know. But anytime you lose a lineman, that's a bad news. And actually, I'm going to call it out. Patrick Peterson, corner, they lost.
Yeah.
That's big. And I do have the Pittsburgh Steelers having a losing record for the first time under whatever his name is. What's his name?
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, thank you. To me, again, 1A and 1B for Andy Reid and him in the league for me. He's one of the best coaches I've ever seen. I have him going 7 and 10. It's a little tough year for him.
Okay.
But finishing 3rd above Cleveland just because I don't like Cleveland.
Okay. So, that's fair.
Justin Fields is the starter, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was doing, a little recon while you were finishing up there, looking at some of their roster. So I'll just. Do you want me to go to 3 or do you want me to stick with the Steelers?
3's fine.
I got them. Okay. So for 3, I have Cleveland.
I figured.
I have them going 10 and 7. Missing the playoffs on a tiebreaker. So, because I've got them 10 and 7, missing the playoffs on a tiebreaker. I like Cleveland. They got Jerry Jeudy. Nick Chubb's going to come back eventually. And when he does, he's going to be good again. Still have David Njoku, Amari Cooper, a good offensive line, Myles Garrett on the defense. They have a really, really stout defense. I like Cleveland. The downfall to me is Deshaun Watson. Is he going to ever return to Houston Texan form? Is he ever going to be that guy that you need? Is he going to stay healthy? The answer to that for me is no. I give him 7-8 weeks and he's gone. He's not the starter, whether that's injury or just poor play and they bench him. So that leaves your guy, Jameis Winston, as the starter.
That's my guy.
And we talked about him a few times, but he's Jameis. Like, you know what you're getting from him. He's going to throw for 300 yards. He's going to throw 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. Those 2 picks may cost you the game and they may not, but he'll be the starter and he's going to go out there and he's going to perform and play well this year. I have the Browns finishing 10 and 7 behind Jameis, 3rd place.
Okay. I like that. That's So going into that, I have them obviously fourth. Key additions: Jameis Winston, Jerry Jeudy, Zadarius Smith went there as well. They re-signed him. Key departures: I think Joe Flacco's the way he played last year is a big loss. But again, I'm never going to go against my guy, Winston. He's my guy. Wide receiver Marquise Goodwin left, and a Jordan Elliott also left. I just don't like anything Cleveland. I don't know why. I think it's from when the Bulls played them and LeBron was there, and we were supposed to be. We had Rose, we had Noah, we had Dang, we had,
that was the team.
All these guys. Yes, that was our year, and they beat us. And then Cleveland Indians, Guardians started out 3-0 against the Cubs. So that was almost a heartbreaker in the World Series too. We know the story of that. That was a good story, obviously. But so I just don't like Cleveland. I don't like Deshaun Watson. I don't think he should be in the league. That's my hot take. That's whatever. Neither here nor there. Cleveland Browns, I have them finishing 6-11.
Okay.
Going fourth. So that leaves your Pittsburgh for you, finishing fourth.
Yeah. So I got Pittsburgh fourth place, and also under 500 for the first time, and I have them 6-10. I have them having a really rough year. I love their defense. That's what made it hard. I love their defense. Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr. Like you said, they did get Patrick Queen, T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, and then Larry Ogunjobi come over. Like, they have a really good team. That's like the defense I have no worries about. Yep. The offense is where it's at. Like, we've seen the last, 3 years of Russell Wilson. He played two in Denver, awful.
Yep.
And then his last year was awful as well.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to come here and do any better. And then I don't, with the way their offense is built, I don't think Justin Fields is going to do any better either. Because it's like he goes from a Bears system that he had DJ Moore and that was about it. Khalil Herbert was okay.
Yep.
And then you go to Pittsburgh and you've got not a great offensive line. You have Pat Fairmouth, so you have a decent tight end. But your only good receiver is George Pickens. And George Pickens is a diva.
Yep.
They signed Van Jefferson. He was okay for, a few years back in the Rams, but then he was awful for the Falcons last year. And he's their number 2. I think they were really hoping they were going to get Brandon Ayuk, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, things could change, and my prediction could change if they were able to pull a trade for him somehow. But right now, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think the offense is going to struggle mightily. Najee Harris is not good. He had a couple good years, and he's tanked. So he's not good. I just have no faith in that offense at all. And in this league, you have to have a good offense to win football games. So I have them 6-10, last place.
Nice. So we have the first two the same, and then our last two differ. Both of us have the Pittsburgh Steelers going under 500 for the first time, which is still very impressive. That's insane, honestly, for how long he's been the coach. So that's the AFC North. I like it. And now we move to possibly the second hardest conference in the league randomly, came out of nowhere. But I couldn't put my Bears first. I am a little bit of a realist, and I do think the Detroit Lions are going to be the winners again. They're just too good. They did lose quite a bit on defense when I looked, but all they really need is that Aiden Hutchinson, and that's about all they need. He's the real deal. Key additions: Jared Goff re-sign, Amon-Ra St. Brown re-sign, and Graham Glasgow re-signed. So they're huge linemen, their best wide receiver, and a really good quarterback. And I'm glad to see it. You know, just a
Super
change.
underrated guy.
Yes, change of scenery, and it's perfect for Detroit to be an
Yep.
underrated guy. Like that is
Yep.
Detroit sports. That is what they are about. Toughness and just flying under the radar and being good. And that's what he does. Key departures again, we got a corner I think it's a corner, Cameron Sutton. Another
Yeah.
corner in CJ Gardner Johnson.
Yeah.
And then a guard in Jonah Jackson. So you signed your good lineman, your best lineman. You lost another one. So or guard, whatever, same thing. I do have Detroit going 13-4, winning the division. They have a very favorable schedule as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So I've also got the Lions finishing first, 13-4, having them number 2 seed in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, they did lose CJ Gardner Johnson. He went back to Philly, and they did lose Cam Sutton, but they did trade for Carlton Davis from the Bucks, who was their number 1 corner. So that helps out. Helps a little bit.
mm-hmm.
But that defense is really good, and their offense is really good. But I do 13-4. I think Jared Goff is sneaky underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Took the Rams to the Super Bowl. They needed Stafford to get over the hump, though. But Jared Goff is perfect for this Lions team.
Yes.
Hopefully they're not in the same position. They're like, okay, we need a better quarterback to get over the hump. I have Jared Goff right outside my top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Really?
I really like Jared Goff. I've got him at like 12. So
Ooh.
I like him. There's just a few better, I believe.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know as I don't know as I can name. I don't know as I can name. I don't know. I'd probably put him in a top 10. To tell you the truth,
It was
Detroit.
close. Yeah, it was really close. My only issue with him is when he's under pressure, he doesn't make as great decisions. So I did just right outside the top 10.
Okay.
You'll get my top 10 list next week.
Sure.
But yeah, a full year of Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to be your starter. Dave Montgomery's will help spelling, but he won't be the every down back like he was at the beginning of the year. Amon-Ra, and you got Sam Laporta.
Yep.
I think Jameson Williams is going to be massive this year. He's blazing speed. He's going to get out there and he's going to unload this year. So I do. Lions 13-4, first place.
I like it. Yeah, and I just like their coach too. He's in it. He's in it for the players. That's what he's in it for, and that's all you can ask. So Detroit, they're back. They are back, and I think they're better now than they were when they were with Stafford for sure. Their defense is top notch. So I like them. I do like Detroit, and I like seeing them up top and relevant again. It's good to see. So here's where we might differ, because my Bears are going to be second.
Okay.
This year. We can run down the key additions. We know Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, and then they re-signed. I think at one time last year he was the best corner in the game, Jalen Johnson, and they signed him big time. So we kept our guys. Our departures really aren't enough to worry about. Departures is Justin Fields, Caleb Williams is our guy. Darnell Mooney, wide receiver. We replaced that pretty easily with Keenan Allen. and Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
Eddie Jackson might hurt. Safety over the top. He was really good too. But I believe in him. I got him going 12-5 in Caleb's first year here. And he's winning rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, whatever. He's winning it. I don't think this year is the year that he is the first Bears quarterback to reach 4,000 yards. Because that's, I don't know. He's not going to have the CJ Stroud year per se, but he's going to be good enough to win football games. And that's supposedly what all he cares about. And it seems like it does. Diving into him a little bit, I was way against him. If you would have asked me, we covered this in the draft. I was skeptical. I was the Justin Fields guy. Why are we getting rid of him? Knew Justin was leaving. So it's like, all right, well, you got to buy in now. We got to believe in somebody. So he gets drafted. On draft night, he won me over. The way he came out, just screaming and ready to go. That was it. Like, all right, he's our guy. Then to see the highlights, he's throwing some interceptions. Okay, our defense is really good. He should throw interceptions. Like, he's taking chances, and our defense is good. So in the practices, I really didn't care. Then the first preseason game, he did fine. He was good. He was against starters as well. The Cincinnati Bengals, or the not the Bengals starters, but Houston's.
The Bills.
I think. Bills in the first game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he was against the starters. That's what he's going to see. He made some audible. I mean, he knows the game. He really does. And with his weapons that he has now, I got the Bears going 12-5, and I'm all in on our QB1. 12-5. They're missing the first place game by one game, and it is the Detroit game. They're gonna lose against Detroit. But Bears have their first 8 games, they could go 8-0, which they have a very favorable opening schedule. And then the 9th game is Green Bay at home. And just a spoiler, I have the Chicago Bears sweeping Green Bay this year. Green Bay's not going to compete this year with the Bears. Da Bears.
Da Bears. There we go. Yeah. So second place was real close for me. Decided by the last game of the season. Winner basically gets in the playoffs at the last seed. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be the Bears? Is it going to be the Packers? And don't hate me, but it's the Packers.
I figured
the Bears are one. The Bears are 1 year away. 1 year.
Okay.
So I do have the Packers going 9-8, finishing second, 7 seed in the playoffs. I have them splitting with the Bears, but just the last game at Lambeau in the frigid cold at home, it's hard. I think Jordan Love has an MVP type season.
Okay.
They did add. I just went completely blank on the running back. They added
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, yes, they added Josh Jacobs. If he's Josh Jacobs' form, they're going to be good because he can run the ball, take the pressure off of Jordan Love. The play action opens up, and you got Romeo Doubs, you got Christian Watkins, you've got Jaden Reed. They're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good defense. So I have them at 9-8, second place, barely squeaking by the Bears. That last game is going to be close, and it's a fight for the playoffs. But I think the Packers just at home, they get it done against the Bears, who are 1 year away from being NFC title contenders.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't hate you. That's fine. The doubters and the haters are fine because Caleb's
Yeah.
going to shut him up. I got faith in this dude. Like I've turned a 360 on this guy. Like
All right.
he's our guy. Like he's,
All right. Good.
painted nails and all. I don't care. I don't. As long as he
Hey,
can win football games.
if they win the Super Bowl this year, you got to paint your fingers. Remember?
Fine. I will do that gladly. Like, are you kidding? That'd be insane.
Yeah.
Again, mine is probably more unrealistic than realistic. I get that. 12-5's a stretch, but I have hope. They just it's all clicking at the right time. So I'll go into my third. So if I'm guessing your third is the Bears, right?
It is.
Okay, so my third is Green Bay. I have a different take on Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love's going to struggle this year. This is his sophomore kind of down year, if you want to call it, even though he's been in the league however long. He started off last year sucking. Green Bay was ready to write him off. Then he got hot, and he got hot. He was probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league for the middle part there. Got him into the playoffs, had a good run in the playoffs, still playing hot. And then it came to an end badly. Like, he showed bad against a good team. I'm not going to say like that. It's going to happen. I mean, they were good. So I got Green Bay. Again, key additions, Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, Jordan Love extension. Stupid extension, but extension. Key departures. Aaron Jones is a big loss for them. They don't think so, but he is. David Bakhtiari has been hurt a lot, but when he's out there, he's one of the best linemen in the game. And Darnell Savage, their safety over the top, is also gone. So their defense took a little bit of a hit, and I have them going 8-9 this year. Jordan Love's going to have a struggling year this year, I think. So take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So you got the Bears 3.
Yeah. I do. I have the Bears 3 at 8-9, barely missing the playoffs. You know, I think it's going to take them a few games to get the chemistry down, like with in-game speed and stuff like that. Sure. They do have a favorable schedule.
Yeah, they do.
They play Tennessee week 1.
Yep.
They're going to blow Tennessee out.
That's what we're hoping. Then, that's a good start.
But then they have to play at Houston, which is a tough game.
Loss. That's a loss.
And I think they're going to take a bad loss there. Yeah. But then it just, at Indianapolis, a win. But then they have to go play the Rams. And I think Matthew Stafford, he's a top 7 quarterback in the league right now. He's still, and then you got Puka and Cooper Kupp, and he's got a good team there. So I think they're going to take a loss there. And then it's just kind of back and forth. Carolina win, Jacksonville loss, Washington win. They're going to lose to the Cardinals and lose to the Patriots. And then they go on a little mini run. But just a lot of back and forth this year. But 8-9, I just have them. I just think they're 1 year away, like I said. So they're going to have a decent draft pick this year. And then they have Carolina's pick, I think, for round 2. And so they're going to bounce back from that. And that'll be a high pick. So I think they're going to get some more talent coming in. And they're going to be really, really good next year. But for this year, we're going to settle third place, 8-9.
Okay. That's fair. So we both got the Vikings last. And
yes,
for me, key additions, Sam Darnold, also J.J. McCarthy. Aaron Jones went there and signing Justin Jefferson back, which was big, which I'm kind of surprised he signed back, to tell you the truth. Key departures, Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, and Austin Slotman, their center.
All right.
My record might not have changed even with J.J. McCarthy, maybe 1 or 2 games, but it wouldn't have changed much. I have the Vikings going 3-14. It's going to be a tough year for them this year.
Yeah.
It just is. I have nothing else to say about the Vikings. It's just going to be tough. That's all, especially in our division.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's so I've got the Vikings 5-12. I don't think much would change either, but I did mine pre-McCarthy injury. I'm not a big believer in Sam Darnold. You know, his famous line, he's out there, said, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." So
yeah,
that's not good.
That's scary. No.
It is. So, I had them actually winning the first game versus the Giants at the Giants because Daniel Jones is not that guy. And then 5 straight. I had them beating the Rams, but with McCarthy being out, I'd probably take it as a loss. Only wins would be Giants, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Seattle. So really 4-13, 5-12, somewhere around there. Doesn't really matter. Justin Jefferson's going to win them a couple games. Aaron Jones may. They have a really good young offensive line. I did see a little report, but I'm not 100. I think it was just kind of a joke. But Brady on a podcast was like, "Yeah, I'll come out of retirement. I'm staying in shape." And they were like, "Oh yeah, Vikings, perfect fit. Like indoors, good receivers, running back, good line." I'm like, in a division where you could come in second, so not going to happen. But 5-12, 4th place, not good.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's just they were at the top. Now they're at the bottom. It happens.
Yep.
So that's NFC, AFC North. We pretty much have the same mix, flip flopping, 2s and 3s. So it should be good. I'm a believer in the Bears, and we're going to leave it at that. So next week we'll have the last NFC and AFC East, which will be your bread and butter. Also, this is what I wanted to do kind of at the end of our show here, was lay it out a little bit. So this episode we recorded on Wednesday. We're going to be Friday, which is the 23rd. So it'll be released a little early because we're going to be going live we started a fantasy football league through the show. So we're going to live stream that. At least I am, if you're available. Kind of thinking both of us
should be good.
Mandy might join us for a little bit on some things. I asked Corey, I don't think he can do it, but so we'll see. We'll see who all can join and just have a little live stream. No, won't be a podcast, won't be anything. It'll just go on our YouTube channel and just be fun hanging out with everybody. So that's the plan for Friday. Again, it'll be going live probably a little before 7. We'll talk some smack before then, maybe, and go live for the draft, get it all loaded up. No pressure, no big thing. So football's
maybe
here.
I can get the wife on there for a little bit.
Oh, there we go. A little special feature right beside you there for a little bit. Nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
So yeah, I got nothing. So hit them with the outro.
All right. We just want to thank everybody for tuning in. However, wherever you may be listening, if you like the content you're receiving, hit the like, subscribe button. Twitter, Facebook, Apple Pod, Spotify, YouTube. See you next week. Peace.